Okay, I've got my timer, so I'm just going to put it on. Otherwise, I will go on and on and on and on. Okay, so my name is Emma, and I'm going to be talking to you about a piece that we've just finished the sort of first stages of, called 8 Hours There and Back. And that was supported by the Arts Council and the Big Lottery and the Unity Theatre, and was made in collaboration with Time Matters. Time Matters is a local charity that works with children that are affected by parental imprisonment. So I'm just sort of answering some of your questions. Oh, I can't figure out how to move it on. Oh, there we go. The first thing we needed to do is identify what the change was that needed to be made. And that came through a couple of ways. The first way it came through is when we were talking to the children and saying to them, we're going to put your words, we're going to put your stories onto the stage. Who needs to come and hear it? Who are the people that you think need to come in, that need to listen to your stories? And overwhelmingly, they said teachers and social workers. The other sort of way it came out was when we were speaking about the project, the biggest response that we got from just casual conversations with our friends was, oh, you never think about the children. And we heard that over and over again. So for us, what became at the heart of it, we always put a question at the heart, and we work quite hard to find out what is the question that we're exploring. The question is, if you do think about the change, if you do think about the children, what changes for you in your practice, in your policy, in your everyday life, in how you engage with clickbait material, in how you view the news, in how you watch the interviews with people that have been arrested in their home. So, for example, for me, the first time I saw Wayne Couzens and I saw a drone shot over his house, the first thing I saw was a trampoline. And the first thing I thought was that he has 2 children. And that has only come as a result of this project. So we created a training event for teachers and social workers to come along. And we had over 100 that came along. 33% of them didn't know if they had a policy in place that actually would support children that have a parent in prison. And 44% of them said they definitely didn't. So we invited them to see the show, and then we invited them to participate in a post-show discussion with a panel that was consisted of Time Matters UK, but particularly 4 children as well that participated in the event. So we're now thinking about what changes. Sometimes when we create our work, we want this to change. We want this type of language to change, or we want that idea to change, or we want that perception to change. This was very much more of an offer. It was an offer to those people that were coming along that work with children, that have policies or don't have policies and procedures in place, to really ask them, now you have that information, now you have that knowledge, and now we can empower you with the information to go forward. You have the agency to make that change. And what changes are you going to make? And that might be straight away. That might be teachers going straight away and thinking, well, what is our policy within our local school community? A lot of them were social workers in training. And for us, that was just as important, to start that conversation, to start the ripples in the head. And the change might be straight away, or the change might be in a couple of years to come when they're faced with the first situation of working with a child with a parent in prison. So why now was the last question I was asked. Why now? Well, there are around, they think, about 312,000 children in this country with a parent in prison. They think, they don't know. We know that when we work with children and they get better family visits, we know that it reduces reoffending, and we know that this is an important part of prison reform. Why now? That's kind of like the big answer. The personal answer for me was, my dad was in prison in the 70s, and on his deathbed, he made my mother swear that she would never tell me. I found out, and I spoke to her, and that's what started this project, and said, why wouldn't he say? Why wouldn't he tell me? And apparently he was so ashamed of that he didn't want us to know. And that shame and stigma that he had with him, that he carried with him for his whole life, hasn't changed. Those children still feel that shame. Those communities, those families still feel that shame. And that for us, it really, really matters. So why now? Because it's just not changing. Nothing's changing around that. And also because they exist, because those kids are out there. It's really important because they exist. So their stories need to be told, and we need to be listening, because every time we clickbait, every time we dig in a little bit deeper, are we thinking about the impact of that when we're reading the news and digesting this information. And as they said, because they have to live with it on the outside, and on the outside is much bigger. Thank you.